Number one, now during your third or fourth year, I know that it may get a little confusing on selecting the type of office, the right office. In other words, that you feel that you can learn a lot from. And there are an n number of offices in India if you see in each of the metropolitan cities. But I will say that get to understand yourself as an architecture student on understanding what kind of architecture appeals to you. It may be sustainable, maybe commercial, maybe residential, and different forms of architecture like malls, or what kinds of architecture do you like. That will heavily dictate you in the making the right decision, getting the right office. Now it can get confusing because there are a lot of offices doing a lot of different types of architecture, but I feel you should understand yourself and what architecture appeals to you before you go to before going to the next step. Basically try to understand what kind of architecture do you like. Is it sustainable architecture? Is it maybe skyscrapers, or is it affordable housing, or is it minimalism? So I think when you're in college during your third or fourth year, you'll get an understanding of what architecture appeals to you, what you can design, and what you may not be able to design that well. In the end, I feel we are all there's a certain way about going about architecture that does not appeal to everyone. There are certain people who have certain styles, and I feel that's a good thing, because you would rather be specialized in one form of architecture than be a generalist at all. I'm not saying that it's a wrong thing, but I would say this is the best way to go about you understanding, at least understanding what is your own style. Yeah. Number two, during college, one thing which is very important that helped me a lot is I kept a keen eye on my seniors. Where did my seniors go? Which countries or which offices did they go to? And I kept a small tab on them. Like, I spoke to them, I asked them, and then we chilled out, we hung out a lot, we spoke about, our interests, what they liked, what I didn't like. So I've seen them go through a lot of hardships, and I'm really happy that I could be a part of a little bit of those hardships, help them during their thesis and help them during the small parts in college and everything. And I basically got to see which offices they aligned towards to, which offices basically gave them the experience which they wanted to. That helped me in making a better informed decision about which kind of office I'd apply to, which kind of office I would not apply to. And this is something which I'll tell you guys also. I know you guys might be a little, you might abstain from talking to your seniors a bit, but I'll tell you that there's a big plus point in just getting to know them. Go out of your comfort zone and just say hi to them, because you never know what opportunity will come of it. Yeah? Now, if you see seniors working in college and they may ask you for help, and it's completely up to you if you want to help them or not. I feel that's freedom of decision, that you should, if you want to, you can. If you don't want to, you should not. But I will say that there's a very big learning in understanding what they're doing and understanding what help they're asking you to do. Because even though whatever they ask you to do, it could be a small rendering, could be a small 3D model on Sketch or something, it's very important to, in that moment when you are helping them, try to notice what they're doing, try to ask them questions in between, and in turn you learn from them about circulation, structures, landscaping, n number of things about a scale of the project. And in that turn you learn so much more in those few moments versus your class. And I feel that's very important and fundamental in you becoming a better architect, as well as helping you make a decision on the type of architecture that you like. Number three, I know a lot of you say, okay, my portfolio is not ready, please help me. Internship deadline is coming, and I don't have my portfolio ready. So I'll give you a small word, like, try to keep a small format for your portfolio. Like, it should have a certain set of basically drawings, a certain set of things that architecture offices that may look at. First things first, like basic things like drawings, a concept, maybe a few renderings, and maybe a little bit more on the detail about how you went about the design and how you came to the final design versus just showing the final design. And now this is where it gets a little tricky, because many offices may not look at that process. Some people might just see a final output, but that's where you should be a little bit wary, because they'll hire you for that final result and not for you to design. They'll ask you for a particular type of work versus design. There are very few offices that offer you the flexibility as an intern to design, because think about it logically, like, they have a lot of money on that project and you just came as an intern. You might leave in 6 or 12 months and you'll just leave it halfway, when actually a project requires a lot of commitment. And so I personally believe that you should like not think about that right now. Think about getting the right internship office in which you learn that as a process. Like while you're doing that said work that they've given you, you learn it from your mentors, from your reporting manager, who you speak to, and that will help you shape yourself into the architecture type that you like. And so in turn, as you realize, as you keep doing internship, that will formulate the kind of architecture that will appeal to you. Now, understand your portfolio has to have a few things to have a certain standard quality. Now, if you don't have the standard quality, I can't guarantee you that if an architecture office will look at your portfolio or not. Like have a resume separate from your portfolio. It shows that you look at these small things, because if suppose you don't send your resume separately, and when they're reviewing it and suppose they're downloading it, now if you send your resume separately, they'll realize, okay, this is 1 of 10. But if your resume is attached to your portfolio, and if it's a little bit bigger, like the MB, if it's a little bit bigger, the size of it, they may choose not to do it just for the sake of it. And understand it's a competition that several others also are going to apply along with you. So this is where you could stand out a bit, and it helped me. So yeah, take that time making your resume separate. Now, when I say standardize your portfolio, have certain things, like have a concept, have the process, have how you came to those floor plans, how you rendered those floor plans, what software you used. It shows your skills, it shows your thought process, like the entire package in a one project. Now, when you show this, that you have this thought process, it can be honed, it can become better. I won't say it has to be the best, but it has to show that you thought of all these small things, as a result of which they're going to determine you whether you're an eligible candidate for them to take. Now, if you don't have these small things, they might think, okay, this person may not resonate, or we don't have time to teach these small things. But if you do it now, it's going to help you in the long run. Number fourth tip I'm going to tell you, which is extremely important, which makes you stand out as a candidate above and beyond, is basically write a personalized email. Don't write, hey, so and so, I am a 4th year or 5th year architecture student looking to apply for an internship in your office, blah blah blah, in regards. Write a personalized email. A personalized email could be like, hey guys, so this is one tip I'll give you. Go towards their website, or if you know the architect, follow their work. See that this so and so project that you have worked on really inspired me, and I'm really interested or keen to learn that process, or the materials used and the application of those materials used in that project. And I personally feel why you should learn those process. That's where you have to put in your own spice or element. Now that is completely up to you on adding that element, but I feel take a little bit time on writing a personalized, because people do look at that. Like suppose if you get 10 emails and they're all the same, you won't read it. But if you write that one email that is a little detailed, a little bit more personalized towards that office, they'll take their time. Okay, this person went through our office, not that they're just a simple email in a list that you got to apply to. Now if you do this, they'll definitely take notice, because that's what I did and it greatly helped me. So definitely do that, guys, don't forget. Number 5, understand that if you apply to an office, and if that's the office you really want, and another thing is that if you don't get that office, make sure you have a backup. Please have a backup. I know that sometimes it may seem a little bit odd to apply to 2 offices, and then like if you get in both of them, it seems a little bit bad to telling them one no and one yes. But I feel it's perfectly fine, because in the end, it's your life, it's your future, and you have to be safeguarded to an extent. Because I've heard several times where people have applied to an office, and that suddenly that office said no, and they winded up without an internship, and it screwed up the academics. So I would advise you to apply and keep a backup, like keep a office which you know will take you 100%, even if it may not be the greatest offices. This architecture internship period is just to get you that certificate degree, which is entirely important, which is much more important than that internship. Now, I'm not going to say which is more important in that way, but in terms of you getting a degree is of foremost importance. That will help you do whatever you want to do after that. Now, if you don't get the internship, forget a good or bad internship, that will not help you get the degree, and hence you'll be where you are looking at this video probably again. Now, one extremely big bonus tip which I'll tell you is, please smash that like button, because it's for the YouTube algorithm. The more you smash it, it's more going to run up on the algorithm side of YouTube, and hopefully it'll reach more people who will gain some insights from it, and hopefully you're doing a part of being a good viewer to me. Now let me know in the comments below if you feel like I should talk about anything more regarding architecture. Now this is just me, even though I'm not doing architecture anymore, I personally feel like this is my way of just helping back the community, giving back my knowledge. Yeah, man, guys, cheers.